So we're rigging a Highline today, and it's been a while since I've made an authentic how to rig a Highline video, and it is how not to Highline after all. So we're going to show you how to make one super good enough, and we're going to use our super good enough leash ring Saturn ring, and without coordinating that so poorly, and possibly because I only have one good logo, super good enough shirt. So stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Michael Melner, and we're in Moab, Utah today. I'm going to show you a line that I found, an 82 meter all-natural rig.
So I've never seen these span sets because I'm not keeping up with the times. So it looks like the same numbers as like a 1,000 kilogram purple span set, but Balance Community labels it so it's easy to understand. And I do like the fact they have the kilonewtons here. It's basically skinnier, but I think it's the same strength. So it's still purple, but that's pretty neat. Maybe it's got more sheath on it. So this one, you just hug that one. I love it. It's not like it's coming off. Rigging all natural's not that hard, is it?
Yeah, it's pulling straight. I could preserve more of the strength, but I'm going to be equalizing off 3 of the things over here, so there's really no need.
You don't have to worry about strength with these.
Definitely.
You do have to worry about like abrasion if this was a thinner rope, but this is naturally protective. And if it's not rubbing, you don't have to protect every square inch all the way around the rock. That's something people do. They bring like a mile of padding. Yeah. It's hilarious. So just like slacklining, when you first learn, you basically wrap trees. Multiple ways you can do this, and we have that in our Highline anchor book. And we have another video of the 5 knots that you can use. What'd you think when you saw the unfinished 9 results of us pulling it to 4 kilonewtons?
I was surprised, dude. I was really surprised. I thought it was going to
untie way easier.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing.
I'm gonna extend these. One thing I'm not doing is I'm not putting connectors on. This is generally frowned upon.
That's a gentle way of putting it.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through both these anchors and do an 8 to kind of join to the anchors. So it's not, there's no possibility of rubbing.
It's not moving.
Yeah.
Ropes, touching ropes is not the problem. Ropes rubbing on ropes is the problem.
Exactly. So
know the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist.
That's right. I like that phrase, dude.
I did not come up with that. Somebody 2,000 years ago did. So it looks like your crux here is getting this over the edge enough so it doesn't rub. We want our master point to be about right here. It's kind of a stupid question. Why don't you use the Charlie Brown tree?
You know, my original plan was to use it, and then when I wrapped these 3 rocks and equalized everything, I didn't need to add anything else.
But if you girth hitch it, it'll reduce the strength by 50%.
I think if we lost all the other anchors and it was only on this, we still wouldn't approach 50%. Not even close. Especially when you connect this to it at the end of it. This does reduce the strength, but we're not lifting heavy machinery right now with it. All right, so you are near a cliff edge. So he's clipped in. A BFK on 3 points that are kind of far apart is mildly difficult. Oh, there you go.
Ah, I love that. So what we ended up doing was just using 1 and 2. Number 3 here, because you can make slings adjustable if it needs to be adjusted at all, is going to be kind of a stabilizer more than anything. So you can just tie an overhand in this to shorten it up this much, or we can do our fancy adjustable sling knot if we wanted it more.
I think the overhand is going to be more than enough with the length. What do you think?
Yeah, overhand or an 8 will shorten that up just fine.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
overhand.
So what's nice about this, guys, is this is very independent from this, and I mean, this isolates these anyways, but you don't have to BFK every single point. I call this manual equalization. It makes me excited.
I like that term, manual equalization.
I'm going to trademark it as soon as we go home.
Oh, these make me happy.
Is that more fun than walking the Highline? You're turning 40 soon?
Oh man, you making me say this on YouTube? Yeah, I turned 40 in about 6 months.
Embrace it, bro. All right, so you're going old school with shackles, eh?
I do 1 steel now and like
1 soft?
Yeah.
No, so you can rig with anybody if you're rigging with both. Hey, I'm all for redundancy. Oh, you do the backup with the soft.
I do the backup with 2 soft.
Yeah, so we have our master point. So this is redundant right here. And then we have our web lock attached. This is upside down for the top line. It's easier to tension and everything. And then the backup line has its own web lock. So, and this is the tension side. You have sew-in loops, right?
Yeah.
So the sew-in loops go...
Sew-in loops to go across.
Sew-in. I say that funny, people say. ¿Qué piensas?
Bomber.
So after Mel rigs a super bomber Highline, I'm going to introduce him to the barrel knot.
A new knot on a Highline. You know that's our old rule. You don't change things up for a Highline. You remember that?
Yeah, the only non-redundant part, too. Do you know how to do a barrel knot?
No, I don't.
Oh, here. So you can't use a figure 8 on this or it'll come off. So you have to use a barrel knot, which cinches down. It's kind of counterintuitive that it won't come undone. So Mel's going to... If it gets in his head, maybe we'll put another leash on here. But you put the squirrel up the tree, and then the squirrel falls down the tree. And basically, it's how you do a stopper knot, sucks up into this. And we've actually done quite a few tests now, and found that this tail does not get sucked up into this. And the harder this knot is, the better. But
how is that not a double fisherman?
It's a barrel knot because it's not connected in another rope. A lot of knots are the same thing, and like a Flemish is 2 ropes joined together with a figure 8.
Oh.
Like we couldn't just call it a figure 8. It's really dumb, right?
Oh.
So you don't want to pull on this tail, so you can't like tape it, or some people like to... How not to make a commercial for the Saturn ring. Anyways, when it's cinched down, it doesn't fall off. Some people try to like back it up with a figure 8 here or something. If anything, you can use, because you do want a tail, you can use a slider tape like you use tape a Highline, so it has that ability to be free. Because you want not this to go up, but you want this to get tighter as you're falling. So insert said ring, and that's bomber. And so we might tape that out of the way, but or if we want to kind of do this tail tie off thing, because it freely allows this to be pulled, then that's fine too. Let's see how Mel does not letting this get into his head, as
nice.
This is totally gonna get in your head.
We'll see.
I'll whip on it for you.
We'll see.
Do you want to put on your leash too?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we are launching? Oh, is this one of those arborist things?
Yeah, the weight?
Yeah, we're gonna send Weaver over. This is gonna be sick.
I'm just gonna see how this goes, man. I've never done this with 2 people, and
all right.
I usually use other stuff. That just sounded like a fun thing to try.
And we have to get it to get stuck on those rocks over there.
Anywhere on that shelf.
Okay, and there's no one here. No one's gonna get hit by anything.
Yeah.
Disclaimers. Be safe, people.
3, 2, 1.
It's my first time. That was lame. I could have done better. Hopefully we can retrieve this. Oh, it almost got stuck. Let's try this again.
3, 2, 1. 1.
I like looked off, dude. I was like, what?
I hit my shit.
Oh no.
Ouch. 3, 2, 1.
Come on. Get up a lot.
So it's stuck in a pocket, but now our tagline's in the river. If you see us doing this again, you'll know it failed. Mel did it. The tagline was up higher than the actual bag, so he got it without having to rappel. That was a pretty sketchy part. I am going to put this tagline in this bag, and I'm going to walk it over to the anchor. While Mel is over there getting his trees prepared, I want to be ready when he starts pulling. This ring is so big, I can stick it over this whole cluster of deer. What I'm going to do is tie this off to the span set and then feed it over. And then I'll have one leash on this side, and then Mel has a leash on his side. I have all the tagline on my side. Sometimes what you do is you have the guy on that side take it, but he's just going to have to pull it for a few minutes. And I'm going to redirect this webbing, so I have to be prepared for that as well. I'm going to redirect it through one of the span sets with a hangover, in order to feed it out like this direction, and it's gonna go that way. Watch the process, but it's just nice to be prepared if your friends are over there doing their thing. It's a big tagline. It is definitely ideal if the person pulling has the bag and this side has the static side. You just want to make sure it's flaked in the bag really well. How not to highline. Oh my God. So it's important that the webbing doesn't rub on the rocks down here. I don't have to redirect it yet because it's not heavy. If it gets heavy, I have my redirect. As you can see, I'm only hanging on to main because that's what I want to keep flat. Sometimes it's really hard to hang on to both. And it does get heavy. I am clipped in, by the way. Slower! I just want that to go into the pulley, and now I can hold twice as much weight.
I think this is good.
I'm gonna lock this off. So I'm gonna go under, extra twist. All right, now I'm not holding it. He's gonna put it in, and then I'm gonna stick it in his web locks. Hey, I'm gonna kind of change this anchor a little bit. The direction of pull is not direct, so I'm gonna change the figure of 8.
Perfect.
I want the direction to be in line with this Highline. You do a figure 8 or overhand. It really doesn't matter for strength. I do not tighten it once it's dressed. And that way, if it wants to pull this way or this way more, it can. As far as this span set goes, I'm gonna change my safety to this guy. Feels safer already. This is probably fine just the way it is, but it's nice to have a 3-point anchor. This is short enough that I could do the adjustable sling trick, reduce it down to exactly what it needs to be. We have a video on how to do that we just put out recently. Now, I could do that and that. So what I'm gonna do is put the blue in the web lock. It's kind of heavy. I'm just gonna have to fight it. Ugh. If I had my grip with me right now, like an expert would, I wouldn't be holding this right now. You want to be real mindful if you're going to stick your fingers in there that you're actually doing it. If this was a big Highline, a big Highline, like you don't even risk putting your fingers in there at all. So this is flat and I can pull some tension. I don't want too much in case like something was not correct and I had to pull the pen. I don't want to have to do that. Say that one more time.
Sorry, Ryan. We're looking good over here, 100%.
Cool. I'll keep tensioning. Okay, so I'm at a tape right now. So I'm going to undo that tape because I can't get that through the web lock. So now we put the most old school line grip. There are lighter versions of this now, but this is pretty classic. So you do that, you put the webbing in the right way, and I'm going to pull up. So this is probably good enough. When he comes over here, he can help me pull more if he wants more. But nothing's rubbing. Super good enough. I'm gonna just leave that. We don't know how much backup we want. That's enough if we had a mainline failure that he would be safe. But I want to tie the tail off back of the web lock. Some of the newer web locks have these auto locking features now. So I want to take that tail, and you're basically gonna wrap it around the web lock and this stuff, and you're gonna kind of tie it overhand. If it were to slip and load it, it can be difficult to untie. But you can do things like that, and then that in case that goes bad. But you just want to tie it off. Generally, I like to go around this master point here, but that's not going to slip. And if it does, it's going to slip through the web lock correctly and not have the webbing cross over each other. Safe, safe. And then I got to tell him it's safe so he knows he can come over. Tie it off your tail, Mel. And your backup is super good enough.
I want your assurance on this ring.
Oh, that ring is bomber, dude.
And this knot.
That knot is better than a figure 8.
Okay, I'll trust you.
It says super good enough on it. How can you not trust that? I'm gonna tie the tail off here before he starts. I'm not too worried about this being used, so I'm just gonna go over twice. I see something back here that I wanna see padded and maybe put a backpack under some stuff. But that's not, he's not doing that much other than sliding over at this point in their span sets. So what do you think of your side and this side?
They both look great. I mean, we got 3 points on both sides. It's decently padded for me. It didn't even look like you were close to the rope even rubbing on anything when you caught at the end.
I did have to catch though, or that rock was pretty close.
Yeah.
But this, we didn't tighten anymore. I liked the loosey-goosey stuff.
Awesome.
The heavier backup with the Arrow 2 is Nice for stabilization.
Awesome, I'm glad you like
And
that.
this is what, blue?
Yeah, that's Balance Community Blue.
Yeah, that's my first time actually walking blue.
And then some old school Aero, I guess it's not super old school, it's not Aero 1, but
anything older than a year in
yeah.
highlining is old school.
Yeah, so that's from like 2016. You know what, man? Like, this is Super Bomber. I just keep tripping about it for some reason. It's just different than what I usually do.
Yeah, how's our tail? Oh, cool. That's plenty of tail if you've already tied a backup.
Okay.
Backup doesn't do anything, but it does make you feel better.
Cool. Now, after you fell on it too, it feels like super solid.
Yeah,
so.
the ring's is not coming out of that, and the knot's solid.
All right.
Have fun, bud.
Thanks, man.
Oh, that's so good. He was crushing. He has improved so much in the last few years.
Dude, you are shredding. I've never seen you walk like this.
I stopped singing and I thought about the walking so I didn't screw it up. Screwed it up.
Oh.
I do not get sponsored by Balance Community, though I wish I was. And I have not received any free blue. So when I say I like it a lot, I really mean it. Okay, we're all done for the day. I'm going to show you how we're going to de-rig. We do not have a soft release on the far side. I have a video on how awesome that is, but we don't have one. It's not a big deal. I'm going to show you how to de-rig without one, which is probably more helpful. You want to take all the backups and undo them. I'm going to untie all of this stuff because I'm going to use this to detension this to pull the pin. So I have here, besides a mess, I have here a knot that I'm going to clip back to this anchor over here. And now I have a fixed point. And I take this tail and I'm going to pull this, and it's not going to make it tighter. Otherwise it'll be tensioning it more. So I'm going to take the line grip. So I want to take the tail that's back there. I want to put it in here. I don't want to take the tail that's coming out of the web block or it's going to tension it. So I'm going to pull this and pull the pin, but I have to be prepared for what's going to happen next because all the tension is going to be on the knot I'm about to tie. So the backup is out, and I'm going to clip this loosely to the anchor because I don't want to be caught holding this thing and not being able to do anything once I pop that pin. So this is pretty hard to pull. So what I did is I took my hangover and I clipped it to the backup soft shackle. And I wrapped it and I did like, I don't know, did a something to one. And now that this is loose, I can pull the pin a lot easier. The problem is now I have to retrieve this line grip, but at least this is done. At least I have it tied off. So once I unclip everything, then I'll redirect it and we'll pull it in. But that's the hard part. You basically have to build a tensioning system with the tail of the webbing. Bueno. He's got enough slack now to undo that side. That's the trick with undoing this. If you have a soft release on the other side, you just unravel it and then it's done. But this is exactly what we needed. It's locked off, so now when he says he's ready, I'll just be pulling in. This is the non-glamorous side of this. I'm clipped in, I'm safe, and he's just kind of holding the tag line. Ideally, you can like redirect the tag line so he's not holding all the weight. Not sure if that's what he's doing. This is only 84 meters. Once you get above 100 meters, you really have to do a little bit more on redirects and stuff. So that's done. Mel, because he has the bag and he has all the tag line, ideally I would untie this so it doesn't get stuck anywhere, but we'll deal with this rat's nest while he comes back over here. You really don't want knots in this when you drop it. But we'll show you a little magic trick. When you pull this tight, it'll slingshot halfway across. All right, now pull tight and then I'll let go. Pow! Nothing in the water. Now I'm gonna clean all this up. This is such a mess. Oh, that's why you're clipped in.